Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 10:30. We are a half hour removed from Monday Night Raw. We are Mouth of the Mark. Little clean shaven, little lack of beanie on Daniel's part, but Matt and Dan here as always, reviewing Monday Night Raw. Uh, please don't yell at me for my lack of facial hair. I feel naked already.
What
Pretty
possessed you to do that?
work pretty much. I had bosses coming, so it was
Uh,
nothing, no personal reasons at all. Like, I love my beard, my wife loves my beard, and I had to get rid of it. So she's giving me the evil look for getting rid of it. Still, it's
yeah,
been
it
three
happens.
days. It's
It
been three
happens.
days.
It'll come
Yeah.
back. It'll come back.
Yeah, great thing about facial hair, it grows back. Probably
True.
more than my receding hairline will grow back, but whatever. Not the point. Let's get to Monday Night Raw. Uh, So tonight, overall, I'm going to say that tonight was exponentially better than last week. I last week, I heard a lot of people saying that last week was awesome. Last week was awesome. Last week only had like two really good highlights, and one of them included a 50-year-old man brawling with a former MMA fighter. Like, like that was one from last week. So, uh, this week was way better overall. I think we talked about this off the air. I'm kind of at a B plus on the show, and I think you're pretty close to the same, huh, Dan?
Yeah, yeah. I gave the show about a B plus. I felt like creative was actually pretty good for the most part tonight. Um, I felt everybody really delivered in their like promo like segments or whatever. I thought it was all pretty good. But yeah, I mean, the Authority promo was good to me because it wasn't just another heelish promo that was 20 minutes long. I think it was, I mean, it was longer, but it wasn't 20 minutes, and it was mostly kind of just laying out their plans for SummerSlam and their way they wanted Raw to flow tonight. Kind of giving us matches we were going to see. So, I mean, I felt like that was a pretty cool little thing there. I'm kind of not stoked for a Paige Stone Cold podcast though. Like, I feel like it'll
Me
be
neither.
cool, but it's like she's too early in her WWE career to really lack like the grit that you had like with every other guest you've had so far, especially following Heyman. That's rough, man. So, but maybe they're like throwing a cooler in for him. You know what I mean? Like, well, we just went to Heyman, so we might as well just throw him in like an easy fluff like podcast. That way he can kind of wind down.
My problem, and we'll get to the Authority segment in just a second because you mentioned Stone Cold's podcast. Uh, I've heard Paige's podcast already. Like, I heard her on Peter Rosenberg. I've heard her on Talk is Jericho. Like, if you're gonna do a WWE Network podcast, do someone who won't go out to these guys. So do like a Randy Orton or a Bray Wyatt, or like somebody big in WWE that won't go out into another podcast. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah,
someone exclusive. I mean,
yeah. I feel like an Orton podcast would have been good. It
Orton
would have
would have
been
been
good for
cool.
him too.
Yeah, Orton would have been cool. If you want to get backstage, do like a Michael Hayes podcast. Like, that'd be cool. If they want to get like into the machine that is WWE, that'd be a cool podcast to do. Um, and I mean, I'd be for having Vince again because
Yeah,
I want to hear more Vince stories personally.
yeah,
But but to Raw, the Authority segment, I gave it a C, because it was kind of weird. Like, this is the first time in a long time they've actually like flat out laid out the card in the beginning, and that kind of gave it bonus points for me, because it kind of gave it an indie feel to it, I guess.
yeah.
Kind of, So I like that. Um, don't like the idea of Cena and Rollins working together in the next coming weeks. Not a fan. If Cena dropped the U.S. title, I'd have been more of a fan of it, and even then, that's a stretch. But I I just don't like it. So that lost points. But to your point, it wasn't just a long drawn out 20-minute segment. It probably ran about 15 minutes. But uh, it was better than past Authority segments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, and the first match of the night was Big Show versus Dean Ambrose, and as much as I cringed whenever that match was announced, I like creatively. I liked what they did in terms of Ambrose losing via countout and then getting a little bit of shine at the end there with Big Show spearing himself through the barricade. Um, I think that creatively helps Ambrose, and depending on how long Ryback is on the shelf, uh, Big Show has time to come back, recover with his angle with the Miz. So I thought that was pretty good. I gave that match a C plus. That that uh, that dive through the ropes into the KO punch was really the only spot where I was like, ooh, that's iffy, because you saw Ambrose kind of pull it a little bit right before he dove. Uh, the dive off the top into the chop was wicked. So they had some pretty good spots. Trying something new this week. I'm trying to not be as critical as a Mark. I'm trying to look at it as like, okay, if I was watching this for the first time and I was like, do I continue watching? How would I rate this show? So that's kind of where I'm
Yeah.
going. I'm gonna let you handle the smart Mark, who's just like, nope, I want this cut and dry.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to
Gladly.
be objective.
I will
So
gladly, I will gladly be the cut and dry kind of guy. That is, I feel like, I mean, I felt like the match was really good. Like, I mean, you said something about the knockout punch, and like, I saw him kind of move his head, but when they showed the other angle on the other side, I mean, that bump looked sick. It was like, I mean, Big Show threw the
his
punch and
fall
got out of the
looked way
way,
better.
so he essentially just turned on his back and took a back bump from out of the ring onto the floor. I mean, it was. I thought the whole match was pretty good. I mean, I felt strangely invested into it. It made sense. I'm glad they showed the bumper from SmackDown with the choke slam into the DDT thing or whatever. Um, but yeah, man. I mean, I honestly would have had Ambrose take the spear, and just kind of just build up Big Show. But then I realized I was like, well, the angle isn't going to be Big Show and Ambrose at SummerSlam, so. If that's the case, then it makes sense to kind of like have Ambrose get his shine here. They both look good, and they both can move on towards their angles. Um, so yeah, I mean, I gave the match a B plus though.
Solid grade. Solid grade. Um,
Yeah,
Neville and Fandango was the second match of the night. And at first I really thought they were going to give him time. Like when the way Fandango started the match off, I was like, "Ooh, are they going to let Fandango work heel and actually get some work in?" Cuz he looked pretty crisp in the beginning of that match, and then they just kind of flipped the switch right there, and then Neville got the win pretty quick. Um, for what it was, I gave the match a B to a C plus. And the reason for that is because even though it wasn't a, really long match, it did what it was supposed to do in terms of, Cur- you know, Johnny Curtis made Neville look pretty good, and the Stardust segment at the end came through, and I don't know what are they gonna do? Are they gonna set up Neville and Stardust at SummerSlam, or are they gonna
yes.
okay? So I thought they were gonna bring Arrow in for SummerSlam, but I don't
I mean,
know.
They might have him make an appearance or something. They might do him at a Royal Rumble or Survivor Series, or man, they might even pull it off until WrestleMania. But that's doubtful. That's way too far. I feel like. Um, But yeah, I know they're not doing it at SummerSlam. And if they are, I don't think they're going to have it in the ring. Like, I don't think they're going to have him in the ring. They might have like him in Neville's corner or something like that.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, I felt the same way. But I mean, Johnny, dude, listen, they're not going to put you over. Like, they're not going to repackage you, and you're way too good. Like, he's a prime example of a guy that I feel like should just quit. He should ask for his release. He should leave. He should go to Global Force or go to Japan and make more money than probably what he's making, and be a bigger star. I think that Johnny Curtis is a phenomenal worker. But every time he gets any kind of ounce of steam behind or Fandango, it just it's too wishy washy for it to stick, and it sucks because
dude,
he's so good.
Johnny Curtis and Dalton Castle, Ring of Honor Tag Team of the Year.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I mean, that'd be awesome. I agree. But I mean, yeah. So I mean, I give the match a C. But however, the Stardust promo was phenomenal. I felt like
Yeah,
I thought the
loved it.
promo was really good. I gave a C for the match and then an A for the promo. So I mean, the promo
Yep.
almost like made up for the fact that it was a basic squash. And I'm a mark for Johnny, and I feel like he should work more, and he should be seen more, and he should be in a serious role more. He can be a devilish villain, and he's really good at it. And I feel like the Fandango character just isn't going to work.
Jericho tried his hardest, man.
I know
Jericho
it.
tried.
I know.
The Divas segment was after the Stardust segment, and the Divas wrestling with the NXT girls is great. The promo work is a little bit desirable, if you ask me. I didn't even give it a grade because it was kind of short. It was kind of to this, it was short and sweet to the point. But I mean, they need some promo work. I don't know. I think what I think it is I think they're really playing into the whole like total divas thing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
so
definitely.
that's
That's definitely what they're
yeah.
doing.
So that's really I think bringing it down because Total Divas is one of those cheap dramas, if that makes sense. Uh, and God forbid I talk cheap drama about pro wrestling. I mean, let's be real here.
Yeah.
you know. Um,
Yeah, I know, but I know what you're saying.
but yeah, I mean it's cheaper than pro wrestling drama, so that's a gauge for you. Uh,
Right.
so but aside from this segment, can we talk about Paige versus Sasha Banks for a second here? Because
Yeah, totally. Totally.
because because that was epic. Like I don't. Here's my thing. I've come to the realization that it's not that this wrestling between these girls is amazing because it is good wrestling. Do not get me wrong. These are good women's matches. Do you know what it is? Do you know what's got it so great? We are so used to seeing shitty women's wrestling that when we get decent women's wrestling or borderline good women's wrestling, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. It
Yeah.
is I just, Paige versus Sasha was fantastic. Fantastic. I gave the match an A. I thought it was smart that they got the other four girls out of there and they let it be a clean win for Sasha. I'm glad that the NXT girls are getting wins. I kind of wish Paige would have won to where Paige could have some steam because Paige is taking the pinfalls and tap outs for her team, just like the Bellas are taking the falls for their team instead of Alicia Fox usually. You know what I'm saying? Like the NXT girls are really being protected. The WWE active roster women are the ones taking the fall, and I like that concept. I just wish it wasn't so heavy one sided. Does that make sense? It's like I like it, but I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
There's a
I
very
see what
fine
you're
balance.
saying. I see what you're saying. I feel like I have just like similar qualms with it. First of all, I thought it was really good. I thought that the work was really good. But I agree that maybe our senses have been dulled just because we've been seeing such crap from the Divas division on Raw. But at the same time, too, I know both these women can work. They're both, I like their gimmicks. I like their characters both a lot. And I feel like the angle that they're working is really good. I feel like my only real issue with this whole like Divas angle that you were talking about, where we're splitting them all off into like these separate little camps. It's like the camps are becoming more important than the Divas title. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm worried that that's getting lost in the shuffle there. But overall, I gave the match itself a B. I'm really glad they gave Sasha the win. I'm glad that they're really trying to put shine on the NXT girls to make them look legitimate. They should do that. I was worried they wouldn't do that, and they would just hope that people would go back and watch the NXT stuff. But I'm glad that they're putting them over. So yeah, I gave that match a B.
You know what I think it is? You know why I think they're focusing more on the teams, and I'll tell you what I think it is. They're gonna focus on those teams just long enough for Nikki to slide past that AJ Lee
I don't
mark.
think they're gonna do it. We've been talking about it for a while, and I don't think they're gonna do it. I think she's gonna drop the title like a week before, even
You
if it's
think?
on Raw. Yeah, because it'll just give her so much more steam as a heel. Just like people can dig at her about it, and she can get furious and throw a tantrum, and like she can be the second longest reigning, and they'll just eat at her. I feel like that would be really good for a character too.
But here's
I
the
think it would be
problem.
smarter overall. I
Here's the
just think it
problem.
would be.
You think it's smarter overall. That means they're gonna let her break the record, bro.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
you know what? I honestly don't think they're gonna do it, man. I really don't. I don't think they're
I'll
gonna do it.
I'll be surprised if they won't. I'll be surprised if they don't because I think it's pretty obvious that they will. And maybe that's why they won't, because it's so obvious that they will. I don't know. I'll be watching because I mean this is the most invested we've been in the women's division in wrestling for a while, in WWE for a while. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's
yeah, yeah. Main roster,
so
yeah.
so I'll be I'll be keeping my eyes on it for sure. And I don't care because they're putting on quality work. Uh, on the other hand, what the hell is this Rusev segment, dude? Can we talk about like seriously? I mean, the dog, cute, okay. Make your little funny joke, okay. And then a fish. A fish? A fish. Uh, nah, nah.
Yeah, I didn't even rate it. I said it wasn't. I mean,
Me
that was
neither.
this was my piss break of the night. This was the flop of the night. I feel like they're doing all they can with you know with the two divas and Rusev, but they really need Ziggler out there, man. Like it's
Where
just
is he? Is he
he's making
actually
the
hurt?
movie. He
Okay.
did resign, by the way. He re-signed with the E. I feel like that's public knowledge. But I don't think we've talked about it on the show yet. He did resign. He got the movie deal, and I think he's got a. I mean, I think they've set him down, and I think they kind of want to have him kind of lead the way in this new NXT invasion. He's going to get to work a lot of these guys coming in, and Rusev's one of them. And Rusev is a good worker, man. We forget about the fact that we were all high on the Rusev train going all into WrestleMania, and just because of the Cena angle, he just kind of fell off. But Rusev's great, man. I know he hurt his foot. Like the matches are going to be good. I feel like he works really well for a big guy. He kind of reminds me of Vader. Like he's still kind of clunky, but he's really athletic too. It's like he's a mixture of the big guy, oh, I'm gonna get you, and also he can do like a cartwheel and a moonsault. You know what I mean? Like that's
So he's
so.
Samoa Joe.
No,
I mean,
Samoa Joe's way more athletic to me. Samoa
but
Joe's
well,
way
of
less
course,
clunky.
right.
Um,
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe to me is more like
Apology.
Owens, which is essentially what he was signed to do is just take Owens' spots, and so Owens is going to the main roster. Um, but yeah, man. I mean, I thought the whole thing was written really well, in my opinion. So, I mean, I just felt like the delivery wasn't very good. You know what I mean? I felt like the idea behind it was really written well. It's just the three of them can't carry it without Ziggler.
Yeah. And see, I just here is my literal notes. Here we go. Between calling her hot summer and the pets, what the fuck is this segment? Lana kinda saved it, and Summer ruined it again. There we go. That is all of my notes. That's it. That's all I can say about it.
Yeah.
I I just moving it forward. The tag team match between Los Matadores and the Lucha Dragons. I actually really liked the tag team match. I liked the two styles working together, but I liked the commentary more. and
Yeah.
and can we talk about how freaking goofy Kofi Kingston looks when he's skipping his ass down that ramp and clapping his hands like like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Dude, yeah,
It's
I love it. I
hilarious.
love cocky heel Kofi, dude. I love New Day. I love New Day.
I I love what they're doing. I wish the tag division was more important, but at least they're focusing on more than just two teams.
No,
Like
yeah, I
they've
feel
got
like I feel like they really are making an effort to make it more important. I really think they need to revise those tag titles, though, man. Like they're bronze. They're the
get rid of the
lowest in the
bronze.
Olympics. Like why? Like no one wants the bronze. No one fights for the bronze. You know what I mean? Like they'll take it. They'll deal with it if that's what they get. All right, I got the bronze. That's okay. But they're not gonna fight for the bronze. That just doesn't make sense. I feel like if they just ramped up their belt game there, it would be a little bit better because the teams are good. All right, I do want to point out one small thing that I noticed. In lieu of all this racism stuff that's going on with Hulk Hogan, it's really ironic to me that they have two stereotypical Hispanic teams facing each other, and then not even
The
involved
two
in the match to distract each other, you have two black teams that are against each other. They're not stereotypical at all, but the Mexican or the Hispanic teams are definitely stereotypical. I just felt like that was kind of odd and weird. So I mean, overall, I felt like it was good. I felt like this would have been better with maybe 5 or 10 more minutes on a SmackDown or on a Superstars. I don't mind it being on Raw. I just felt like it wasn't really necessary. Just because New Day and Primetime, I would have done something with them maybe. Had them, like even if it was like a singles match, like a Darren Young versus, Kofi Kingston or something like that. I feel like that would have been a little bit better. And have Titus on commentary, like on Big E on the other side, or Woods on one side and Titus on the other. Just
Yeah, that'd
going
be
at it.
cool. The other thing I noticed, dude, Titus O'Neil on commentary. Let's be real here. Like
Yeah.
the dude is taking shots, breaking kayfabe on commentary. He's
Oh
like,
yeah.
he's like, when have you seen a Puerto Rican bullfighter? And I'm like, damn. He
Oh
just
yeah.
he goes all over the place, and there's some other stuff he
My
said, and I'm
favorite
gonna.
part of that was like he was just so quick with it because he was like, "Hey, he was like, JBL, what's your line? I
I
gave it to
love it,
Michael.
Bagel.
Michael, what's your line? Whatever." He goes, Byron, what's your line? And there was nothing, and he was like, "Yeah, that's your line, Byron. Nothing." And I was like, "Oh my god!" He paused for like 5 seconds, and Byron was like, or he goes, "Wow," or something like that.
Yep, yep. I thought he was great. Titus could probably replace Byron and be a million times more entertaining. But I'm not going to bash Byron because it's hard to work a 3-person booth, and Byron actually did a good job when they did Beast in the East.
Yeah, no, he did.
I'm blaming all of the Raw commentary on all of the information coming into these headsets. Like I'm blaming it all on production in the back.
Oh yeah,
So
no, I agree, man. I feel like they're doing themselves a disservice by putting, like, first of all, 3-man team. I don't know why they keep trying to do this. When has it ever worked for anyone in the history of pro wrestling where that's been the best combination? Where it's been a 3-man team?
I'll tell you
Never.
when it
It's
worked.
never been the best. It's never been the best combination. And the best combinations that have ever been have always been 2-man teams. Why are you all of a sudden having 3-man teams here? Cole doesn't need to be on both shows. Why don't you just give SmackDown to Byron? Or have like Byron go to color and put Renee on commentary on SmackDown. You know what I mean? Like,
Wait, Cole's still calling SmackDown?
yes.
Is he really? I thought it was King, Byron, and I don't know why I thought Graves was calling SmackDown now. Hmm.
No.
All right, Cole's still on SmackDown. That's a stupid idea, but whatever. I agree. Cole should be only on Raw. I think, but I will say, and maybe it was because I was younger, but I enjoyed the 3-man team when it was JR, King, and Coach because Coach was playing the heel, and I liked Coach. I liked Coach as an annoying heel.
Oh
Uh,
no, you can't say coach on this show. We can't
man,
have that. No, that dude is terrible. Everything about him is awful.
man,
Everything
what do
about his
you can't
existence in
do
the
not
WWE is awful.
do not hate the popcorn fart. Like, do
Dude,
not hate.
coach is like the David Arquette of the WWE.
And David Arquette was world champion, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
But
fair enough.
the Bray Wyatt segment was next. And
Yeah,
honestly, Bray threw out a slam dunk promo. I think it would have been a better service if Harper would have maybe not said as much. Maybe if he would have just said something simple. I think Harper's length of speech kind of took away from it and created a bit of a lull. That's just me. The segment was still an A. I mean, it was still an A+ segment.
who do you
Uh,
think they're gonna add? Who do you think it's gonna be?
Rumors I'm hearing now are Adam Rose as Leo Kruger. That's what I'm hearing.
Ooh, ooh, I like that a lot.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh no, but then I was like, ooh, but wait, it's Leo Kruger gimmick. That sounds good.
Even if they
And
keep Adam Rose, but just give him that Leo Kruger gimmick. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep him. You could even keep his name if that's what they're worried about, and just make him a Wyatt guy. And then when they break off, just have him be that weird Leo Kruger. You know what I mean? Like,
what you do is, I know they won't do it because it's what TNA did, but you remember in the beginning where they did the little vignettes of Bray like talking to Harper and Rowan. They
yeah,
should do that again, and have a conversion from Adam Rose to Leo Kruger. And that way, if Rose ever leaves the Wyatt family, he can revert back to Adam Rose as a face gimmick. If they want to do that,
Yeah,
I
but they
would
can do that.
say,
They can still do that too with Adam Rose. That's what I'm saying. It would make more sense
yeah.
at this point. It would make more sense to keep the name Adam Rose. Um, but I hope they pick him. I heard it was going to be Bo Dallas, but
See, but Bo Dallas has been the rumor for the last year and a half. Like Bo Dallas has been the constant rumor. And I haven't seen Bo Dallas on any of the sheets that I've been on. I looked on PWI, SE Scoops, Wrestling News Source, and all three of those are saying Adam Rose's Leo Kruger gimmick. So I haven't seen Bo Dallas, but I also haven't checked the sheets in the last 5 or 6 hours. So you know how they get in the afternoon. They're just like
oh yeah, yeah,
spam
yeah.
everything. So, I'll have a bunch of
Especially on a
stuff.
Monday.
Yeah, yeah. Monday nights are crazy for the dirt sheets. Uh, but I think either way would be good if they did but I don't know if Bo could pull off like that creepy kind of gimmick. Like I know that Leo Kruger would work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would almost prefer Leo Kruger, but at the same time, I'd like to see if Bo Dallas can do anything. You know what I mean? Because I know your opinion on Bo Dallas, where he's just be gone. But I don't know. I don't know if he'd be able to make a Wyatt family
See
gimmick
if they
work.
do Bo Dallas though. That's the guy I would hope they would change his name. I hope they would change his name,
You'd
change
have to.
everything about him.
You'd have to. You'd have to. I mean, you wouldn't have a choice. Uh, but after that, Charlotte and Becky Lynch took on uh, Alicia and Nikki from the
Nikki Bella,
Bellas.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, I'm glad that Becky got the win. And I thought, and I know you and I have had this conversation that it was kind of a typical Divas match. We've had this conversation before. Actually, I think we had it last week about the tag team match. And this match is where I came to the realization that saying, okay, it's not phenomenal wrestling, it's good wrestling, and we think it's phenomenal because we've seen shit wrestling out of these girls for the last few years. So I still gave the match a B, and I still thought it was a really good match. I'm really glad that Becky got the win. I wish I wish that they would not call that armbar the disarmer. Like I wish they would call it something else. I really don't like
Yeah.
that name.
I felt the same way. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't mind the name. I feel like it's grown on me. I feel like the work was really good, dude. First of all, though, can we just all right, dude? Charlotte has got to get some better ring gear, man. Like I almost got the cooch like a couple times. Like, I mean, good God, girl. Like Jesus, you got. I mean, man, that bothers me. But it just takes me out of it. Like I'm like nervous for her. Like you know what I mean? It's like I'm like nervous that something's gonna like pop out because everything is so small and she's so like long and tall. I mean, she looks great. She looks like $1,000,000. I'm not knocking her. I'm just saying like her gear is like it just. I like the style of it. It should just cover a little bit more. She's big enough to where she can still show plenty of skin, you know, whatever. But I mean, I thought the match was good. I didn't think it was as good as the singles match they had before. But I do
Agreed.
feel like if me and you had the book, this is how we would have wrote the Divas matches. You know what I mean? Like the way Banks went over against Paige, having her on Raw in the singles match, having Becky Lynch that hasn't gotten any shine yet go over in the tag match. I mean, I thought it was really good, man. I'm excited for Divas Wrestling. It's good. It's good.
Yep. And at first I thought Charlotte was wearing Paige's ring gear because I was like, that's black, and she was wearing blue, and I thought Sasha was wearing some of Charlotte's gear because she was in blue and yellow this week. I'm like, good God, stop changing it up. But whatever. Uh, Orton versus Owens was after that, and Sheamus was on commentary. Uh, this match was actually a lot better than I thought it would be. Like, I thought for sure that Orton was just gonna do his Orton thing, and thankfully, it was a pretty good back and forth match. I like the amount of offense that Owens got in, and I like the amount of offense that Orton got in. Um, I was kind of sad about the DQ finish, though. Like that kind of depressed me. Um, but other than that, uh, the the Cesaro run in at the end really furthers the angle between Cesaro and Owens. I'm glad they didn't let Cesaro really get a strong upper hand, and they kept Owens looking as strong as they could. You know what I mean? I thought it was pretty solid. I gave the match a B. I gave the little post segment that was a B too, so it all averaged out to a B there. Um, so I'm kind of excited for Owens versus Cesaro. Uh, Still not anywhere near excited for Orton and Sheamus. I hope they stay away from that, but I have a feeling they're going to do it again. Um,
Oh yeah,
uh,
that's I mean that's on paper, man.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's on a flyer
The
somewhere.
the pen, the ink is dried. They've colored in with Sharpie. So yeah, that's signed, sealed, delivered.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I'm kind of excited with
Dude, Orton
the
is like a
Owens.
full head taller than Owens, by the way. Did you notice that? I was
Dude,
like,
it's hard.
Jesus. I was like,
It's
I was like, Orton's
Yeah.
looking like the Undertaker over here. Like, what is going
It's
on?
it's really when Orton wrestles all these bigger guys so often, it's really easy to forget how tall he is.
Dude, he is
Because
tall. He's like
he's like,
6'6".
he's like six, yeah, he's like 6'4", 6'5", somewhere around there. He's pretty tall. I think
Dude, he's
Owens
got to
is
be
like,
like 6'6", because I'm pretty positive Kevin Owens is 6'2", and he's
well, Owens is the same size as Cena. Cena's 6'1" or 6'2", I think.
yeah 6'2".
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Owen, so Orton's probably 6'5", 6'6". Yeah, he's
Yeah,
probably somewhere around
Jesus.
there.
I mean, it was literally his whole head was taller than
Yeah.
Owens, and I was like,
Well,
damn,
remember
man.
this.
I
Remember
didn't.
this. I mean, he stood pretty close in height with Edge, and Edge is like 6'8".
Edge is not that tall.
I think Edge is like 6'7", 6'8", dude. Like, I'm pretty sure.
I think he's
Because
like
he wasn't
six
that
five or
much.
6'6". I think he's like 6'5" or 6'6".
Keep talking. Keep the camera off me. I'm gonna look it up.
I mean, I just don't think he's that tall. I mean, I gave the match a C because I felt like it could have been better than it was, and they weren't necessarily rushing. It was almost like they were old school in it. Like they got out there and they were like, "All right, we'll just talk through it. It's a short amount of time." So it wasn't awkward. I mean, it was the spots were good. I just felt like they weren't trying to cram anything in there, so they didn't have anything big built up for it to me. I mean, some of the spots were. I mean, everything was good, of course, because they're both phenomenal workers. Um, in my notes, I said, Sheamus on commentary gives me hope that he will interfere and Owens won't job, and that's what happened. So at the end of the day, like I gave the match a C, but I gave A creative because Cesaro looked like he was on fire when he came out there. He got a huge pop. I really like that they're giving him another push, and I think that he kind of gets it from last year. I think that he still kind of needs a mouthpiece because I feel like once he gets to a certain height, he's going to have to deliver great promos, and I just don't think he's capable of that. Period. Not on like the 20-minute long main event level. You know what I mean? I think he can carry his own, say a few words, but he needs a mouthpiece for sure. Or they need to put him back with Kid. But that's that would kind of suck too. You kind of lose. I don't know. So the whole Cesaro thing is so weird to me. Like as a mark, I love him. I want to see him do well. I want him to get these huge pushes. But at the same time, like I completely understand why he doesn't get pushed because I mean he's a great pro wrestler, but he's just not built to be a great sports entertainer on the mic. You know what I mean? So I don't know. A for creative though. I think the match they're gonna have Owens and Cesaro is gonna be a barn burner for sure.
Oh yeah, that match is gonna rock. Edge is 6'6". So anyway, just figured out that Edge is 6'6". But yeah,
Yes.
that that Owens and Cesaro match is gonna be great. There is
Yeah.
no doubt in my mind. The question will be if it's as good as Owens and Cena, like 1 and 2, 3, whatever. But 1 and 2 are great. So, that's a pretty big candle to hold up to. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
um, and that being said, with as well as Cena and Owens did, I was really having high expectations for Cena and Rollins in terms of an actual wrestling match.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like it delivered for the most part. Uh, Cena going over, I think, was kind of stupid. Him going over clean. DQ finish. Owens walking out. Fine. Clean finish. Hate it. Uh, Cena broke his nose, or Rollins broke
Yeah.
with a knee, and that looked gnarly. Like not not Steven Richards after a Chris Masters forearm gnarly, but it looked pretty gnarly. Uh, I thought they were going to call the match for a minute whenever I saw all the blood just running from Cena's face. I was like, oh, they're going to call it. Like, that's
Yeah.
it. Uh, but Cena must have a whole shit ton of clout because he was like, nope, I'm going to keep on going. And they were like, well, okay. And they
Yeah.
kept on going. So props to Cena for finishing the match, man, because
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys who wouldn't have. They'd have been like, I broke my nose, I'm done. But
Yeah.
props to him for finishing. That match got a C for me. The work was great. Creative sucked.
Yeah. See, that's honestly that's what I said too. I was, you know, I think I've put my finger on why Rollins, his championship reign has been so poor. And I'm a huge mark for him. I mean, I love the guy. I think he's a phenomenal worker. I think he's great as a heel. I think he pulls off the coward thing really well. But I think that they have ridden him so bad as a champion. I think that's what the ratings are, and I feel like he's taking the heat for that. But it's just it pisses me off to know that like we have nights like tonight where he works great, like and it's rare that he actually gets to work. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times they just book him just as a coward, so they don't want him pulling off any cool spots. Even though he's capable of doing great things. So it's like, when I see matches like tonight, I see him actually work and show that he is definitely main event guy. You know what I mean? He's definitely the guy. He's the best worker. So I feel like the fact that he's getting judged and taking the brunt of this and taking the heat for the fact that his reign is, poor ratings and all this stuff, and he's being viewed as a bad champion. I feel like it's even in, maybe not in the office, but even in the dirt sheets, it's kind of been viewed that way, and it's really not his fault at all. Like he's a phenomenal worker, and the match with Cena tonight, the matches they're gonna have are gonna be great. I just feel like the creative for this, like I gave the match a B+ and creative an F. Like I thought the tap out was so dumb. Like, I mean, you can't have him. The coward thing, I get it, man. But it's like at some point you got it. Even if it's even if he wins clean and gets up and just has a shocked look on his face, like, oh my god, I actually beat somebody clean. Like you just got to do it at some point, man. Or go ahead and drop the title and hope that he can do it as a baby face, or later on, because I mean he's gonna have another title run at some point in his career. So maybe hope that the second time is better, but. I mean, the number one reason why his title reign is as piss poor as it is because of creative and not because of his work. That's my opinion.
And that's a fact. Like that, it's a fact that creative is hindering him more than his work because his work is there. He's worked with, he's worked with Cena, he's worked with Lesnar, he's worked with Orton, he's worked with Reigns, he's worked with Ambrose. And he's put on great work. Hell, he put over Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury. So whatever. I just the guys got great work, and the book behind him is what's really holding him back. I feel like oh man, there's so many guys that fall victim to the book, and
Yeah.
it's a shame that now he's falling victim to the book with the title.
Right.
Like,
I just feel like they've done it for so long now that it's like you've suspended so much disbelief that it's like now it's more like you think, well, how's he going to get out of this one instead of like
how's he
no
gonna
one
win?
has any idea that no one has any thought in their mind that he's actually going to win a match. You know what I mean? Which I feel like is kind of what you've wanted to book for him, but I feel like that was a bad idea. You know what I mean? I just
You
don't think
booked him
that
into
was
a
the
corner.
smartest plan. It may have worked if he was the Intercontinental Champion or the U.S. Champion, but as your number one guy, even like when you did it for the first few months, I was behind it. I was like, all right, this is cool. But at some point, you got to give him a legitimate win. And at this point, it's like half a year for a title reign. That's a long time as it is for this kind of day and age. Like half a year to have the title, and you still got it. But to still not have one real legitimate win on a major show on a pay-per-view against a main event guy, like it's like just go ahead and take the title off of him, man, because at this point the title's hurting him because you're not letting him win any. You know what I mean? Like just go ahead and let him lose so he can win a few matches. You know what I mean? Like go ahead and let him drop the title or have him go over clean on Cena. You know what I mean? Like those are the only options. But of course you will not slow down the Cena train. Which, dude, okay, a champion versus champion match at SummerSlam is the dumbest shit ever. It's so dumb. Like, and all like, all right, I'm all right. I'm not throwing shade here. We love our buddies at Pro Wrestling Cast, and I love their show. If you guys haven't listened to it lately, they completely ripped apart and dissected the entire Hulk Hogan scandal. It's a great listen. They're the number one podcast I download. I listen to them all the time. Pro Wrestling Cast. Love those dudes. But they were saying that the marks are wrong, and that last week's Raw was great, and that the way they wrote Owens now to them after last week's Raw. It seems like it makes more sense, and now it makes sense to have Cena have won. It's like, dude, you could have had Owens grab the tights or a foreign object, in his trunks or something, and win the title that way. Screw Cena, and then put Cena into the Rollins picture without losing any steam, and then you can actually use the U.S. title that Cena has built. I'll give props where they're due. That has built up to be this great title now. You could actually have that elevate guys like Cesaro and Owens with this angle. It was piss poor booking to not have him win, man. And it's not like I'm a Mark fan that just wants to say, "Oh, I wanted my guy to win." It was the best, most obvious, long-term, smart, creative decision to have him get the U.S. title, even if it was the most skeezy way, the way that John Cena could not possibly lose any shine. Like, it was just so dumb to have Cena keep the title.
Daniel John Schaefer, ladies and gentlemen. On that note,
Yeah,
no, I mean, I agree. And like I said, love the boys at Pro Wrestling Cast. They were nice enough to let us on their show after Battleground. We did a simulcast. It was great, awesome, and I think they were just as shocked as we were that Owens didn't win.
yeah, they
But
were.
but nothing about what I've seen in the last 2 weeks gives me a solid reason to say, oh man, this is why Owens lost. This makes perfect sense. There hasn't been that moment that clicks. What is the point of John Cena and Seth Rollins facing each other, champion versus champion? You're not in the 80s. You're not going to recreate Ultimate Warrior and Hogan. Like, that's not what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like that's not what's happening. And for as much steam as Cena's built the U.S. title, it's not what the Intercontinental title was in the 80s. It's not. And in this day and age, it's not going to get to that point. That was called the golden era for a reason. That was the golden era of wrestling. The Attitude Era was what it was for a reason. You're never going to have that again. So
Yeah.
to try to rationalize what they're doing now, grasping at, well, they did this in the past, so this is what they're trying to do. No, don't use that shit, because they're not going to.
Yeah.
Our worst fear at Battleground was Cena's gonna Cena, and Cena Cena'd. For Mark, you get that.
He's seen it all night.
You know what I mean? And the U.S. title being involved with the World Heavyweight title is either one of two radical things. Cena's gonna Cena, or Cena's gonna be the guy that Owens pins clean. That Rollins pins clean. I'm hoping for option 2. Knowing the book, I'm pretty sure John Cena is going to be the next Jay Lethal, except on a WWE scale. And dear God, I hope not.
Yeah, see, I'm worried that, like, to me, there's no way. The only way to not devalue both titles is to have John Cena win. That's the only way to not devalue both titles. And it's SummerSlam, and you want to turn the corner, and there's going to be huge numbers that you're going to have to turn into investors. It makes a whole lot of sense to put the title back on John Cena. I get that. It would have just made a lot more. And honestly, if he would have dropped the title at Battleground to Owens,
it'd be fine.
It would be fine. I mean, we would probably bitch about it. We'd probably bitch about it, and it'd be like,
but not as much as we're bitching about it now.
Main event, and he's gonna tie Ric Flair with this title reign, and we bitch about that. But that would be fun, Like, this is not fun. This is like, I'm genuinely worried for the product. Like, not that they need my fucking pity or anything. Like, they're clearly doing fine, and I'm an idiot on the internet. But at the same time, I'm just God, I love pro wrestling so much. I've said it once, I'll say it a million more times, but like I'm so passionate. I love it so much, and it just bothers me when I see like a clear cut way, like this nice, beautiful interstate, and then be like, you know what? Let's take this shady pass over here. Like it's like what? Why? Like why would you do that? Like this is good for everyone. This is even good for like PG kids. Like you could even do it 80s style where he reaches in his trunk and grabs like the tape brass knuckles and like hits him and pins him 1, 2, 3. Like it would have just made more sense that way. It's silly, man. It's silly.
No, I agree. I agree. Um, I just the only way I could see it not devaluing. Actually, no, because it will devalue. Because once Cena loses the U.S. title, it's going to devalue it. But if once they make the match, Cena should have an open challenge, and Rollins should do what Owens should have done, and cost Cena the title. And then
Agreed.
and I think he should. I think Owens should answer the challenge, or Cesaro should answer the challenge. Have Rollins cost Cena the match. Give the title to the Owens Cesaro feud, which is what should have happened at Battleground, and then Cena can Cena in the main event. But I don't know. I'm really worried that they're gonna just let Cena hold on to both. Like I really am, and that
All right.
scares
Here
me.
you go. WWE spies. We know that you watch this show. We know that you tune in. We know that you steal our ideas from time to time. We're totally okay with that. So this is how you fix this. You have an U.S. Open challenge. You have Cesaro come out for the big thing. His third time's the charm, and he cuts this little Swiss promo, and he wins. Cesaro wins the match. Then Owens, it'll just drive him mad. You can have a long feud with Cesaro, and those matches will be phenomenal. And that way you instantly elevate Owens again just by having Cesaro win the title, in my opinion, because of how you can take their storyline. That is
And you
hands
elevate
down
Cesaro.
the smartest way to fix this.
And yeah, and you elevate Cesaro because he's working with Owens, who has beaten Cena. And
Yeah.
they could do the whole, well, I beat Cena once. Well, I beat Cena once. Well, we're going to figure out who's better. Like just have that big old thing going on. So I think that's the smartest way to do it. And I don't even need a royalty check. I don't need credit. Just make the product watchable. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. That's all we're saying. That's it. That's it. But we'll see what they do. Overall, tonight's Raw was pretty damn good. It was a
Yeah.
million times better than
Tonight's
last week.
product was watchable. Tonight's product was watchable.
Right. So we'll see how WWE takes their book because they're one Monday at a time. So
Yes.
we'll see what next Monday brings because next Monday might be completely unwatchable. But we'll find out in about 7 days
Tune in here and find out.
on the next exciting episode of Mouth of the Mark. I need that guy from Dragon Ball Z to do our outros.
Yes.
Totally gonna
Yes.
happen. That's gonna do it for us tonight, guys. Y'all have a good night and keep on watching wrestling, man. Keep on watching.
Peace.